Hey besties, it's Rosie. Before we get started with the tarot, I was guided by Spirit to read a passage from this 100-year-old copy of Through the Looking Glass. It's very provoking, she said, in reply to the lion. She was getting quite used to being called the monster. I've cut several slices already, but they will always join on again. You don't know how to manage looking glass cakes, the unicorn remarked. Hand it round first and cut it afterward. This sounded nonsense, but Alice very obediently got up and carried the dish round, and the cake divided itself into 3 pieces as she did so. Now cut it up, said the lion, as she returned to her place with the empty dish. I was getting the message that this collective is about to birth something that has never been conceived of into existence. And in order to do so, you're going to have to abandon the logical path and order in which you typically do things. You're probably someone who's very creative by nature, and what you're about to do next might be a little bit frustrating in the beginning while you are still figuring out how to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. I think that in order to do this, you are going to have to reimagine the way you engage with your own masculine energy. The way you normally step into your masculine energy to bring something to fruition is going to have to be integrated more with other aspects of yourself. I'm pretty sure these flowers on this card are irises, which that is a plant spirit I recently started working with, and they the ones I've been working with have they're like the little tiny ones that cover the ground in the spring. And they are all about being seen, widely seen and widely recognized. And if you notice this card in the background, there are 2 people which could be seen as playing or fighting, depending on what your interpretation of that is. But if you look very closely, you can see that they seem to have 2 of their hands bound together, and the binding on the other 2 hands is coming apart. And this would be the woman's left hand and the man's right hand. So the left side of the body governs your feminine energy, and the right side of your body governs the masculine. So according to this card, the woman's masculine energy is bound to the man's feminine energy. So I think that there's going to be kind of a flip and a reversal in the understanding or execution of the way that you typically use those 2 energies when coming together to create something. When I was pre-shuffling the cards, I was getting a lot of resistance from the energy that I picked up on in yesterday's reading, where there's still someone lingering your energy from the past kind of pulling you back. And I think that that energy, especially if you are connecting to someone who is more of a masculine energy, this could be distorting the way that you are interacting or executing your own masculine energy if someone with a distorted masculine energy is constantly pulling and tugging on your energy. It's going to require you to break free from that in order to be able to reimagine and wield this new concept of masculine energy, because in order to create from this seat of power, you will have to have achieved inner union. And in order to do so, or kind of a byproduct of having done so, is your energies are no longer this and that. They're no longer masculine and feminine. They kind of come together to create this new amalgamation of energies that are quite the creative force. And at this time on the planet, we haven't really seen that before. So that is why this collective is full of innovators. The thing that you're about to release to the world, the thing that you're about to create, is something that's never been seen before, and no one has ever quite used their creative force in this way. You might be rather defensive when tapping into this energy, because as this concept, or as this path is illuminated for you, your perspective is going to have to undergo an ego death of its own sorts in order to be able to comprehend the way that these elements go together. It might require you to abandon your prior sense of right and wrong, or order and even justice. Three of Pentacles, I'm hearing go back to the drawing board. If you are prone to indulging in things that are not beneficial to you, this could even just be your food choices. This doesn't even need to be necessarily vices, but as you see, the man on this is eating a chicken leg, and there are fruits on the table that are untouched. I do find it interesting that the apple has been bitten, and I think this is kind of a Garden of Eden symbolism, that you have eaten the fruit, which has given you the special unlocked knowledge that is only available to those who dare to do so. But I think that in order to truly tap into this energy, you are going to have to fight off an incoming of temptations. This woman back here is like, oh, drink this little cauldron. So these temptations might come from the outside, or they might come from within your own frustration, because when you're trying to do this, you're probably going to get very frustrated and you're going to seek some form of comfort. So it can be very easy to kind of backslide into these vices to try to cover up or assuage the discomfort that these changes are going to bring about inside of you. I think it's interesting that on this card, he has these 3 attempts at drawing the same picture, and this is my 3rd attempt at filming this video, so maybe 3rd time is the charm when it comes to enacting these changes. What's interesting about this card is all of the wands or the broomsticks in the air are one color, and the ones that are on the ground or in her hair are another. So I think that you might be comparing yourself to other creations, and I don't think that this will fare very well as a strategy unless you are using it in terms of what not to do, or kind of contrasting to the competition or to your creative peers that you look up to. You're going to have to, instead of trying to emulate someone else's creation, you're going to have to kind of invent your own, or at least put your own spin on it. These broomsticks do seem to be fairly similar, but she has clearly made them out of some other kind of material. I'm being called to grab the deck that I used yesterday. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I tend to attune my decks to help me navigate different energies. And this deck that I have here is linked to my highest self, so the messages that come through are directly from her. So I think what is serving as a blockage is lingering effects of this energy that I spoke about in yesterday's reading of this person still holding on to you from the past. And I don't really see this person present in this reading. This is more the energy that it is eliciting within you. So there is this part of you that is still kind of holding on and waiting, still love struck, still has this arrow in your heart, fantasizing that the love is reciprocated and that you will not have to discard it. And this is preventing you on some level from achieving or believing that you are deserving of the success and recognition that is supposed to be coming your way. I also think that this project or creation that you're birthing is going to attract a lot of eyes. I think that it's something that's going to be widely perceived. And I think that you know on some level that there will be other people that will be drawn to you like a moth to the flame when you release this. And there's some part of you that isn't open to that because you are still kind of clinging to this love from your past and comparing and contrasting everything else to it. Spirit, what advice do you have for this collective? I think Spirit is asking you whether going back to this person, let's say in a perfect world, they did approach you and there was reconciliation in their heart and on their mind. If you knew that they hadn't changed that much, because the message I'm getting is there really hasn't been that much change, are you willing to abandon the progress that you have made in order to go back to a mode of growth that is very sporadic, that is very disjointed, that is very unpredictable? You have this pentacle in your hand. You have this new golden opportunity that has been given to you by the universe. You can take this pentacle and you can continue adding to it. You can eventually reach the 10 of Pentacles. Is this the kind of person that not only could reach the 10 of Pentacles with you, but could even be relied upon to not sabotage the one pentacle that you have as you're holding it? If this offer did come in, no matter how much healing you have done, no matter what boundaries you have drawn in your mind around it, if this person started acting up and resorting to their own ways, there would be some part of you that would be ungrounded by this. And what would that mean for your creative power? Spirit, I'm actually going to ask this for two different sets of collectives because I feel like I'm probably leading for two. There are some people who are probably frustrated that this energy is continuing to show up in their readings, and there's probably another one who is still hopeful and would like that reconciliation. So Spirit, what is your advice for those who are not holding on to this, who want to release it? What is your advice for those who are looking to release this? I'm hearing a song in my head. I believe it's by Feist. It's called My Moon, My Man. And the lyrics go, my moon, my man, so changeable land, such a lovable lamb. And I'm not actually sure what the rest is, but that might be a song to look up. There's probably a message there for someone. That song is about a man who is extremely moody. Like the moon, his moods change like the tides. He is unpredictable. He is sullen. He is This card looks very suspicious to me. So for some, he could be very suspicious. He could be kind of controlling because of some inner wound around you shining too bright. All right, Spirit, but what, we get it, but what is the advice? What is your advice for releasing this and moving forward? I'm hearing that you need to be prepared for not only this person, but other versions of them popping up. So even if you never interact with this person again, you might encounter other versions of them. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I tend to, when I exit a cycle before it is truly completed and before I have truly mastered the lesson, I will continue to attract various fractals of this person who have insane similarities to the person that I have decided to leave behind. And it seems like this cycle will run with as many new characters as possible, as many new versions of this character as possible until you have truly mastered it. And I think that this isn't so much about you failing to master a lesson or exit a cycle. It is the fact that these are pests that exist on the path where you are headed. If you're going on a picnic, there will be ants. There will always be some greedy little creature hoping to get a crumb of the bounty that you have provided. And this person, for a lot of you, falls into that category. This person or people like them will approach you on this path and try to trick you into this pattern of allowing them to ride on your coattails under the guise of collaborating with you. And all this kind of dynamic is going to do is completely drain you of your creative power. I don't know if you saw this came out reversed. So Queen of Wands RX is a woman who is not operating from a powerful seat. Her creative power is scattered. And I think that the emotional turmoil that this person continues, or this person or energy continues to put you through, will rob you of your ability to both connect with yourself, achieve this inner union that you will need in order to birth these creations, and also establish any kind of peace or tranquility with yourself. So I'm hearing that you need to be on guard, that you need to look with the eyes of a predator to see how you might be perceived as prey. Spirit, do you have any other closing remarks for that collective, or should we move on to the other? Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is upright this time, so this is indeed the path towards achieving this goal, is leaving this person behind. So I don't think that it is going to be a clear and easy path, and I think that there will be roadblocks, and this person might clamor after you or get a little grabby with your energy even without ever speaking to you again. There's going to be some element of them kind of reaching for you because they lack their own creative ability, and on a soul level they understand that any kind of abundance or mastery that you're bringing into your life, they would never be able to access that without you. They could if they truly wanted to. If they wanted to go through the ascension journey and they wanted to form their own connection to source, because most masculine energies, especially one that fall under this category, were born disconnected from it. So the only way for them to access this creative, true creative, pure creative energy from source is to siphon it from a divine feminine who is connected to it. And they can either do this through force, which would be considered siphoning or thievery, or they could harvest it, which would be a way that they have taken it from you humanely, kind of like foraging in the forest for mushrooms that grow naturally. So this person, probably in the beginning of your relationship, convinced you somehow that you could give your energy to them willingly, and you probably did. So that would be considered, the foraging that they did of your energy. But now that you're not giving it willingly, they might take it by force. Those mushrooms can be picked by anyone if they are unprotected. So you're going to have to start learning how to secrete some poisonous substance to prevent that from happening. All right, Spirit, what advice do you have for the other collective who would like to entertain a reconciliation with this person? I think that in order to invite this person back into your life, you're going to have to access forgiveness inside of yourself. There is some perceived betrayal here that you are ready to let go of, but haven't quite fully. I think that on some level you understand that in order to invite this person back into your energy, that you are going to have to take on a very nurturing role, because their own masculine energy is very, while nothing is coming up reversed, this person probably has a lot of vices. And this stems from a deep internal wound in their masculine energy that prevents them from kind of being able to act with conviction. They probably are incredibly indecisive and prone to being stuck. So this is going to require you to, one, determine, be really honest with yourself about the level of work that this is going to take to make this viable. Ask yourself if that is something that you are willing and able to actually do. And ask yourself, are you willing and able to provide this person with a level of nurturing that is less that of a loving spouse and more of a parental figure? If you see on this card, there are these little baby male mermaids in the sea, and there is this heart that is dripping blood on this closed toolbox. So this person does not seem to have a reliable access to their heart space. And when they do access those emotions, it's probably more like this inverted energy where they are bewildered, confused, overwhelmed, and you are kind of this benevolent force calming the seas so that they are able to see through the distortions that their pain and unhealed wounds have caused them. On the bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands. So again, this is going to be a heavy burden. You have an opportunity to end this cycle for good. This is something that you could truly put behind you and start a brand new, beautiful, illuminated chapter where you could focus your energy. Your intuition would not be blocked going forward. This person, an output of this magnitude of your emotional energy is going to siphon your energy from kind of like the higher chakras and divert it more towards the lower ones. So the realm that you would need to tap into to bring this creation to fruition in a momentous way will be diminished by the subversion of energy to this other source. I think it's important. I don't really see enough people talk about this, but I think it's important to recognize that there are no wrong and right choices. The concepts of right and wrong and good and evil are simply constructs that we use here on Earth because we exist on a planet that operates from polarities. So ultimately, your soul came here to learn lessons. You came here to grow as a soul. And how you choose to do that is 1000% your choice. It's your prerogative. And the unique thing about this incarnation is we have opted as a collective for the chaos timeline. So basically 1,000 years worth of growth and evolution has been condensed into 100 years. So things operate a little bit differently. The soul contracts that we had prior to incarnating here don't really apply to people in this collective or really anyone else, but especially us because things are moving very rapidly. This has left openings and energy for opportunities that we've never seen before, but it also kind of nullifies the things that our soul knew to be true when we came here. So we might have had these agreements with other people to incarnate together and work on our karmas and do different things, but I found in my experiences that a lot of people have kind of decided to go off script. So it's kind of like the Wild West out here. And whatever you want to do, aside from working through your karmas, is really up to you. So going back to this person, not going back to this person, I don't think that there's a right or wrong choice. There are simply choices that will result in greater burdens that could be avoided by choosing other paths, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. If this is something that you really feel that strongly about and you don't feel able to walk down this other path with a clear heart, having left this behind for good, if there's still some part of you that feels like you need to revisit this and there is something there for you, then you're probably right. Nobody, including your guides, including God, including Source and Spirit, knows what is best for you better than you do. This is your experience and you get to choose what you want to do with it. So please don't let anyone pressure you or tell you otherwise. Spirit can guide you and help you see things that maybe you can't, but no one can ultimately make up your mind for you. If you have trouble making decisions and taking movements, your heart might really want something, but you just genuinely struggle. Maybe you have some form of neurodivergence. Maybe you have ADHD or something that makes it hard to act. So while you might really want to do something, you struggle immensely taking steps in that direction, even if you might know what they are. And in this case, there's a little trick, a little shortcut called divine intervention. You can give your guides and you can give spirit permission to kind of intervene and act on your behalf simply by declaring that. If you want to let this go, but you lack the courage and fortitude to do so, ask spirit to help you. Ask them to intervene. Stay open-minded to what comes to you because it might not be exactly pleasant. It might be something that might be initially painful, but in the long run, it will be exactly what you needed to let this go for good. So I'm going to leave this here, besties. I want you to know that I love you very much, and I will be waiting for you up ahead, regardless of which path you choose.